At the beginning of the journey of inner liberation, something subtle yet powerful begins to unfold within you. You may notice that you have become sensitive to everything, not just emotionally sensitive, but energetically open in a way you have never experienced before. A single word can linger in your chest. A casual comment can echo in your mind for hours. A sentence from a stranger online can suddenly stir emotions that feel far bigger than the moment itself. If this is happening to you, it is important to understand something clearly. This is not a sign that something is wrong with you. This is a sign that something deeply right is happening. For a long time, you learned how to protect yourself from life. You built layers, consciously or unconsciously, to survive, to cope, to function. You learned how to suppress emotions, how to ignore discomfort, how to move on without fully feeling. And those strategies worked until the moment your consciousness began to expand. As awareness grows, the inner walls that once kept everything contained begin to dissolve. When those walls fall, life touches you more directly. Words no longer stop at the surface. They move inward. They awaken stored energy. A remark from a friend, a misunderstanding with family, even silence where you expected warmth. Suddenly emotions rise. Anger you don't recognize. Sadness without a clear story. A tightness in the chest. A sense of being overwhelmed by people, and sometimes by yourself. This phase can feel confusing. You may wonder why you are reacting so strongly, why you feel irritated, emotional, or withdrawn. But what is truly happening is that old energy is surfacing. Energy that was stored when you did not have the awareness or safety to feel it fully. Years of unexpressed emotion, moments you pushed past too quickly, experiences you never had time to digest. Now as consciousness opens, this energy is asking to move, and it will move whether you understand it or not. This is why sensitivity increases, not because you are fragile, but because you are no longer numb. If you are able during this phase, it can be helpful to spend time alone, not as rejection of others, and not as escape from responsibility, but as a conscious pause. Solitude creates space. Space allows energy to surface without interference, without the constant stimulation of conversations, expectations, and roles. Solitude is not isolation. It is a container, a place where what arises within you can be felt without judgment and without the need to explain yourself. However, not everyone has the ability to withdraw from life during this phase. Responsibilities remain. Work continues. Relationships do not pause. If solitude is not possible, there is another way to walk this stage with awareness. When you cannot step away from people, life itself becomes your training ground. Every interaction becomes meaningful. Every person who triggers you, every situation that creates discomfort, every word that activates emotion is not appearing by accident. These moments are invitations. The people around you are not your enemies in this phase. They are not obstacles to your peace. They are mirrors. Each mirror reveals a place inside you where energy is still stored. When someone's words ignite anger within you, pause. Do not react. Do not suppress. Do not explain the feeling away. And most importantly, do not act from it. Instead, bring your attention inward. Feel the anger in your body. Notice where it lives, the heat, the pressure, the tightness. Do not label it. Do not judge it. Do not turn it into a story. Simply allow it to be felt. The same applies to sadness, to guilt, to shame, to resentment. These emotions do not need solutions. They need permission. When you stop resisting a feeling, something extraordinary happens. The energy begins to move. What was once dense starts to soften. What felt overwhelming loses its grip. This is not because you forced it to leave, but because you stopped blocking its exit. Most people suffer not because emotions arise, but because they fight them. They analyze, they blame, they suppress, they project. But liberation happens when you let the feeling pass through you without interference. Each time you do this, you release a layer. Each layer released creates more inner space. Over time, you will notice a gradual change. Your reactions become less intense. The same situations no longer carry the same charge. The same words no longer penetrate as deeply. Not because people have changed, but because you are no longer holding what used to react. Life begins to feel lighter. You respond instead of react. You listen without contracting. You move through situations with greater ease. This is integration. You are not avoiding life. You are meeting it without armor. Trust this process. What feels uncomfortable now is not punishment. It is purification. Every wave that passes through you is removing something that once blocked your freedom. And as resistance dissolves, peace does not arrive dramatically. It arrives quietly, in moments of stillness, in simple interactions, in the absence of inner conflict. This peace does not depend on circumstances. It does not require silence or isolation. It exists because you are no longer fighting yourself. And the more you allow this process to unfold, the more you will notice that life begins to meet you differently, with less friction, with more flow, with a subtle sense that you are being carried rather than pushed. This is the gift of sensitivity, not suffering, but awareness learning to move freely.